Emma Gray's hands shook as she signed her name. Emma Gray Stone. She was married now, to a stranger. Jacob Stone stood beside her in the freezing courthouse. He didn't smile, didn't even look at her. He just stared at the paper like it was a business contract, because that's all it was. The judge cleared his throat. "You may kiss the bride." Jacob turned to Emma. His face was cold, hard, like the winter wind outside. "That won't be necessary," he said. The judge blinked. "Well, congratulations then." Jacob walked out without another word. Emma stood alone in her gray wedding dress, the only dress she owned. It had patches on the elbows, mud on the hem. This was her wedding day. She wanted to cry, but she'd learned long ago that tears didn't change anything. If you're new to my channel, please hit that like button right now. Comment below where you are listening from and share this with someone who loves a good story. Outside, snow fell hard. Jacob was already on his horse, a thin, tired-looking animal. "Can you ride?" he asked. His voice was flat. "Yes," Emma said. He pointed to another horse. It looked as tired as his. "That one's yours now." Emma climbed on. Her dress was too thin for this weather. She had no coat, no gloves. She'd sold everything to pay for food last month. Jacob rode off without waiting. Emma followed. Her fingers went numb on the reins. They rode for an hour, maybe more. Emma couldn't feel her feet anymore. Finally, they reached the ranch. Emma's heart sank. The house was small. The paint was peeling. One shutter hung loose. The barn looked ready to collapse. This was her new home. Jacob dismounted, tied his horse to a post. The post was crooked. "Come inside," he said. It wasn't an invitation, it was an order. Emma slid off her horse. Her legs almost gave out. She was so cold, so tired. She followed Jacob to the door. He pushed it open, didn't hold it for her. Inside was dark, cold. A small fire burned in the fireplace, barely enough to warm one person. The furniture was old, broken. One chair had only 3 legs. Emma's stomach twisted. She'd been poor before, but this was worse than she'd imagined. "Your room is upstairs," Jacob said. He pointed to a narrow staircase. "First door on the right." "Where's your room?" Emma asked quietly. "End of the hall," Jacob said. "We won't be sharing." Emma's cheeks burned. She knew this wasn't a real marriage, but hearing him say it so coldly, it hurt. "I'll bring in your things," Jacob said. "I don't have things," Emma said. Jacob looked at her for the first time since they'd left the courthouse. Really looked at her. Emma saw something flicker in his dark eyes. Surprise maybe, or pity. She hated pity. "I have one bag," Emma said, lifting her chin. "That's all I need." Jacob's jaw tightened. He nodded once, walked back outside. Emma stood alone in the cold house. She wrapped her arms around herself. What had she done? 3 days ago, she'd been teaching school. Poor, yes. Hungry, yes. But she'd been free. Then the town mayor had come to see her. "Miss Gray," he'd said, "I have bad news. The school is closing." Emma's world had stopped. "What? Why?" "The land belongs to Jacob Stone," the mayor explained. "His father's deed has a rule. Jacob must be married by the end of this week or he loses the ranch. If he loses the ranch, the school closes. We have no other building." "But surely he can find a wife," Emma had said. The mayor shook his head. "No woman in town will have him. He's too cold, too strange, too poor. He came to me yesterday, asked if I knew anyone desperate enough to marry him." Emma had felt sick. "And you thought of me. You need the school to stay open," the mayor said. "He needs a wife. It solves both problems." "What kind of marriage would it be?" Emma had asked. "Whatever kind you both agree to," the mayor said. "But Miss Gray, if you don't do this, you'll have no job, no income. Winter is here. Where will you go?" Emma had no answer. She had no family, no money, no options. So she'd said yes. Now she was here, in this falling apart house, married to a man who looked at her like she was a burden. Jacob came back in. He had her small bag. He set it by the stairs. "There's soup on the stove," he said. "Help yourself. I have work to do." He walked out again, into the snow, into the dark. Emma walked to the stove. There was a pot. She lifted the lid. Thin broth, a few vegetables, barely enough for one person. She took a small bowl, left most of it for Jacob. She sat at the broken table, ate slowly. The soup was watery, tasteless, but it was warm. Emma looked around the house. Everything was worn, broken, barely holding together, just like her life. She finished the soup, washed the bowl. Her hands were still numb from the cold. Upstairs, her room was tiny, a narrow bed, a cracked mirror, A window with a draft. Emma set her bag down, sat on the bed. It creaked loudly. She looked at the ring on her finger, a plain iron band, not even real metal. This was her wedding ring. Emma pulled off the ring, held it in her palm. It was already turning her finger green. She wanted to throw it out the window, but she didn't. She put it back on. She'd made a promise, and Emma kept her promises. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. The bed was hard. The blanket was thin. She could hear wind howling through the walls. She could also hear Jacob downstairs, moving around, doing something. What did he do all night? The next morning, Emma woke to silence. She dressed quickly, went downstairs. Jacob was gone. The fire was dead. The house was freezing. There was a note on the table. Gone to check fences. Back by dark. Don't wait for me to eat. That was it. No, good morning. No. How did you sleep? Just orders. Emma crumpled the note, threw it in the dead fireplace. She was not going to live like this. She built a fire, a real fire, found wood stacked outside, brought in enough to last all day. Then she cleaned, swept the floors, washed the windows, fixed the broken chair with rope she found in the barn. By noon, the house looked better. Not good, but better. Emma made bread, real bread. She found flour and salt in the cupboard. Not much, but enough. The smell filled the house. Warm, comforting. Emma realized she was humming an old song her mother used to sing. She stopped, felt guilty. How could she hum? She was trapped in a loveless marriage, in a falling apart house, with a man who barely spoke to her, but the bread still smelled good. Jacob came back at sunset. He stopped in the doorway, stared. You cleaned, he said. Yes, Emma said. You didn't have to, Jacob said. I live here now, Emma said. I might as well make it livable. Jacob's face did something strange, softened, just for a second. There's bread, Emma said, and I made more soup, with actual meat this time. I found some in the cellar. Jacob sat down at the table. Emma served him. He ate in silence. Emma watched him. He ate like he hadn't had a real meal in months. Fast, desperate. How long had he been living like this? This is good, Jacob said finally. Thank you, Emma said. Jacob looked at her. You're a good cook. My mother taught me, Emma said. Where is your mother now? Jacob asked. Dead, Emma said quietly. 3 years ago. Fever. My father too. Jacob nodded. I'm sorry. They were the kindest words he'd said to her. They finished eating in silence. Emma washed the dishes. Jacob sat by the fire. Emma, he said suddenly. She turned. Yes? Why did you agree to this? He asked. To marry me? Emma dried her hands, looked at him, really looked at him. He had dark circles under his eyes. His clothes were worn. His hands were rough and scarred. He looked like a man barely surviving. Because I had no choice, Emma said honestly. And neither did you. Jacob stared at the fire. No, I didn't. Can I ask you something? Emma said. Jacob tensed. What? Why did your father put that rule in the deed? Emma asked. Why force you to marry? Jacob's face went hard again. Cold. He wanted me to settle down, stop being alone. He thought a wife would fix me. Fix you? Emma asked. Make me less? Jacob searched for the word. Cold. Emma sat down across from him. Are you cold or just careful? Jacob looked surprised, like no one had ever asked him that before. Both, he said quietly. They sat in silence. The fire crackled. Outside, wind howled. This doesn't have to be miserable, Emma said. We're stuck together. We might as well be kind to each other. Jacob looked at her for a long time. You're different than I expected. How? Emma asked. Stronger, Jacob said. Most women would be crying by now, complaining. You're just managing. Crying doesn't change anything, Emma said. I learned that a long time ago. Me too, Jacob said. Something shifted between them. Not friendship, not yet, but maybe the beginning of understanding. I should sleep, Jacob said. He stood up. I have to ride out early tomorrow, check the cattle. Will you be gone all day again? Emma asked. Probably, Jacob said. Then I'll make you breakfast before you go, Emma said. Jacob stopped, looked back at her. You don't have to do that. I know, Emma said, but I will anyway. Jacob nodded. Thank you. He went upstairs. Emma heard his door close. She sat alone by the fire, looked at her iron ring. It was already making her finger ache, but she didn't take it off. The next few weeks were the same. Jacob left early, came back late, barely spoke. But Emma kept cooking, kept cleaning, kept making the house better. She found curtains in a trunk, washed them, hung them, found dishes in the cellar, cleaned them, used them, Slowly, the house started to feel less like a prison, more like a home. One night, Jacob came home with a package. "This is for you," he said. He set it on the table. Emma opened it. Inside was fabric, good fabric, blue wool. "For a coat," Jacob said. "You need one." Emma's throat tightened. "Jacob, this is expensive. I had some money saved," Jacob said. "You're my wife, you should have a coat." "Thank you," Emma whispered. Jacob nodded, walked away quickly, like he was embarrassed. Emma held the fabric. It was soft, beautiful. Maybe Jacob Stone wasn't completely cold after all. A month passed. Then winter got harder. Snow piled high. Some days, Emma couldn't even open the front door. She and Jacob were trapped inside together. At first, it was awkward, sitting in silence, avoiding each other. But slowly, they started talking. Small things at first. Emma told him about her students, about teaching, about her dreams. Jacob listened, really listened, and sometimes he talked too, about the ranch, about his father, about being alone. "I've been alone since my father died," Jacob said one night. 5 years now, I forgot how to talk to people." "You're talking now," Emma said. "You make it easier," Jacob said. "You don't expect anything from me, you're just here." "Where else would I go?" Emma asked, smiling. Jacob almost smiled back. "Fair point." Emma realized something. She didn't hate being here anymore, didn't hate being married to Jacob. She was starting to care about him. That scared her. One night, a storm hit, worse than anything before. Wind shook the house. Snow blocked the windows. Emma came downstairs. Jacob was trying to keep the fire going. "It's bad," he said. "We might lose the roof." "What can we do?" Emma asked. "Nothing," Jacob said. "Just wait and hope." They sat together by the fire, listening to the storm, hoping the house would hold. Emma was shaking, from cold, from fear. Jacob noticed. He moved closer, put his arm around her. "It'll be okay," he said. Emma leaned into him. He was warm, solid, safe. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Me too," Jacob admitted. They sat like that all night, holding each other, waiting for the storm to pass. When morning came, the house was still standing, barely, but they'd survived, together. Jacob looked at Emma, really looked at her, like he was seeing her for the first time. "Emma," he said quietly, "I need to tell you something." Emma's heart jumped. "What?" Jacob stood up, walked to the window. His shoulders were tense. "I haven't been honest with you," he said. Emma stood. "What do you mean?" Jacob turned. His face was torn, guilty, scared. "This ranch, this life, it's not what you think." "Jacob, what are you talking about?" Emma asked. "Come with me," Jacob said. "There's something I need to show you." He led her upstairs, to a door Emma had never seen opened, a locked door. Jacob pulled out a key. His hand was shaking. He opened the door. Emma stepped inside, and her whole world changed. Emma couldn't breathe. The room was full of papers, stacks and stacks of them. Legal documents, ledgers, maps. But that wasn't what made her freeze. On the desk sat a telegraph machine, expensive, new. On the walls hung framed certificates, railroad bonds, stock certificates, and in the corner a safe, a huge iron safe. Emma turned to Jacob. Her mind couldn't make sense of what she was seeing. "What is this?" she whispered. Jacob closed the door behind them. His face was pale. "My real life," he said quietly. Emma walked to the desk, picked up a document. It had a name at the top, Jameson Stone, president and owner, Stone Railroad Company. Her hands started shaking. "Jameson Stone," she read aloud. "The railroad baron. The one who owns half the rail lines in the West. The one who—" She stopped, looked at Jacob. "The one who died 2 years ago in a fire," she finished. Jacob nodded. "Except I didn't die." Emma sat down hard in the desk chair. The room was spinning. "You're Jameson Stone," she said. It wasn't a question. "Yes." "You're one of the richest men in America." "Yes." Emma's voice rose. "And you let me think you were poor. You let me cook watery soup and wear a dress with holes and freeze in a house with no heat." "Emma, let me explain." "Explain?" Emma stood up. Her whole body was shaking now, with anger, with shock. "You married me under a false name. You lied about everything." "I had to," Jacob said desperately. "My business partner tried to kill me, burned down my house. I barely escaped. I had to disappear, had to let everyone think I was dead." Emma stared at him. "So you came here, to this ranch, and pretended to be poor?" "Yes," Jacob said. "And you married me because you needed a wife for the deed. But you never told me the truth." "I couldn't risk it," Jacob said. "If anyone found out I was alive, they'd come for me." I had to keep you safe by keeping you ignorant. If you're shocked right now, comment unbelievable below. Share this twist with everyone. Emma walked to the safe, touched it with shaking fingers. How much money is in there? She asked quietly. Jacob hesitated. Enough. How much? Emma demanded. $50,000, Jacob said. In cash, for emergencies. Emma laughed. It came out broken, bitter. $50,000. While I was patching my one dress, while I was rationing flour, She stopped, pressed her hands to her face. I felt sorry for you, she whispered. I thought you were struggling. I thought we were struggling together. We were struggling, Jacob said, just not with money. Emma whirled on him. Don't try to make this sound noble. You lied to me, Jacob, or Jameson, or whoever you are. I'm Jacob, he said firmly. Jameson died in that fire. I'm Jacob Stone now. That's who I want to be. You don't get to choose, Emma shouted. You're still lying, still hiding. This whole marriage is built on lies. Jacob's face hardened. You want the truth? Fine. I married you because I needed a wife to keep this ranch. And yes, I could have told you I had money, but I needed to know you wouldn't tell anyone. Needed to know I could trust you. So you tested me, Emma said coldly. You watched me struggle, watched me work, watched me make do with nothing, all while you had a fortune locked in this room. I was protecting both of us, Jacob said. You were protecting yourself, Emma shot back. You used me, just like you used everyone else in your life. Jacob flinched like she'd slapped him. That's not fair, he said quietly. Fair? Emma's voice broke. You want to talk about fair? I married you thinking we'd be poor together, that we'd struggle together, that maybe, somehow, we could build something real together. She walked to the door, put her hand on the handle. But this? She gestured at the room. This is just another business deal to you. I'm just another asset. Emma, no, how much am I worth? Emma asked. What's the going rate for a fake wife these days? Stop it, Jacob said. His voice was harsh. Why? Emma asked. Isn't that what this is? A transaction? You needed a wife? I needed security. You bought me, just like you buy everything else. I didn't buy you, Jacob said. Then what do you call this? Emma demanded. Jacob was silent. Emma opened the door, started to leave. Where are you going? Jacob asked. I don't know, Emma said. Away from you. Away from these lies. She walked down the hall, down the stairs, grabbed her coat. The one Jacob had bought her. She almost left it. But it was freezing outside, and pride wouldn't keep her warm. Emma, wait. Jacob came down the stairs after her. Emma opened the front door. Cold air rushed in. If you leave, you'll freeze, Jacob said. It's 10 miles to town. The snow is too deep. I don't care, Emma said. I care, Jacob said. His voice cracked. Please, don't go. Not like this. Emma turned to look at him. Really look at him. He wasn't cold Jacob anymore. He wasn't calm. His face was desperate, scared. Give me one good reason why I should stay, Emma said. Jacob opened his mouth, closed it, couldn't find words. Emma's heart broke a little more. That's what I thought, she said. She walked out into the snow. It was freezing. Brutal. The wind cut through her coat, but Emma kept walking, one foot in front of the other. Behind her, she heard Jacob shout her name. She didn't turn around. She'd walked maybe a quarter mile when she heard the horse. Jacob rode up beside her. He jumped down, blocked her path. Move, Emma said. No, Jacob said. Jacob, I swear, you want a reason? Jacob interrupted. His voice was raw. Fine. Here's your reason. I love you. Emma froze. What? She whispered. I love you, Jacob said again. His eyes were bright, desperate. I didn't plan to. I didn't want to, but I do. I love the way you hum when you cook, the way you fix broken things, the way you made that falling apart house feel like a home, the way you look at me like I matter. Not my money, not my name, just me. Emma's throat tightened. Tears burned her eyes. You're lying, she said, but her voice shook. I'm not, Jacob said. I've lied about a lot of things, but not this, never this. He stepped closer. Snow fell between them. I know I hurt you, Jacob said. I know I broke your trust, but Emma, please, give me a chance to earn it back. Let me show you who I really am. I don't know who you really are, Emma said. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Are you Jacob? Jameson? A poor rancher? A rich railroad baron? I don't know anymore. I'm a man who fell in love with his wife, Jacob said simply. That's all. That's the only truth that matters. Emma wanted to believe him, wanted it so badly it hurt, but she was scared, terrified. How do I know this isn't just another lie? She asked. How do I know you're not just saying what I want to hear? Jacob took off his gloves, reached out, took Emma's frozen hands in his. Because I'm giving you a choice, he said. Right now, you can leave. I'll give you money, enough to start over anywhere. I'll sign divorce papers. I'll never contact you again. You'll be free. Emma's heart pounded. Or, Jacob continued, you can come back, and I'll tell you everything, every truth, every secret. No more lies, ever. And we can decide together what happens next. He squeezed her hands gently. But Emma, he said softly, if you come back, I need you to know something. I won't just be your husband on paper anymore. I'll be your husband for real. Because I don't want a business arrangement. I want you, all of you, for the rest of my life. Emma couldn't breathe, couldn't think. That's not fair, she whispered. What's not fair? Jacob asked. You can't just say you love me and expect everything to be okay, Emma said. I know, Jacob said, but I had to say it, because it's true, and you deserve the truth. Emma looked at him, at his face, his eyes. He meant it. She could see it, feel it. He really did love her. I'm so angry at you, Emma said. Her voice broke. You lied to me. You made me think we were barely surviving. You let me worry and struggle and… I know, Jacob said, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry isn't enough, Emma said. Then what is enough? Jacob asked. Tell me. I'll do anything. Emma pulled her hands away, wrapped her arms around herself. I need time, she said. I need to think. How much time? Jacob asked. I don't know, Emma said. Jacob nodded slowly. Okay, but will you at least come back to the house? You can take your time there, in the warm. I'll sleep in the barn if you want. Just please don't freeze out here. Emma looked around. She was already shaking, already losing feeling in her toes. She was angry, hurt, confused, but she wasn't stupid. Fine, she said. I'll come back, but you're sleeping in the barn. Jacob's face flooded with relief. Okay, yes, thank you. He helped her onto the horse, climbed up behind her, rode back to the ranch. At the house, Emma went straight to her room, locked the door. She heard Jacob downstairs, moving around. Then nothing. He'd gone to the barn like he'd promised. Emma sat on her bed, stared at the wall. Jacob loved her. Jameson Stone, the railroad baron, one of the richest men in America, loved her. Emma Gray, poor schoolteacher, nobody. It didn't make sense. Unless it did. Emma thought about the past 2 months. About Jacob, about how he'd been with her. He'd never treated her like she was beneath him, never acted superior, never made her feel small. He'd listened when she talked, thanked her for cooking, appreciated what she did. He'd bought her fabric for a coat when he saw she was cold. He'd held her during the storm when she was scared. He'd been kind, in his own quiet way, and she'd fallen in love with him too. She'd fallen in love with cold, quiet Jacob Stone. Not knowing he was secretly Jameson Stone, Emma put her head in her hands. What was she supposed to do now? The next morning, Emma came downstairs. Jacob was already there. He looked terrible. His eyes were red. His clothes were wrinkled. He'd probably been up all night. Did you sleep in the barn? Emma asked. Yes, Jacob said. It's freezing out there, Emma said. I've slept in worse, Jacob said. They stood in awkward silence. I made coffee, Jacob said finally, and breakfast. It's not as good as yours, but it's food. Emma sat down. Jacob served her eggs, bacon, biscuits. It actually looked good. They ate in silence. Emma, Jacob said finally, can I ask you something? What? Emma asked. What would it take? Jacob asked. For you to forgive me? Emma set down her fork. I don't know if I can. Jacob's face fell. But, Emma continued, I'm willing to try if you're honest with me about everything. Hope flickered in Jacob's eyes. Anything. Ask me anything. Emma took a breath. Why did you really marry me? I told you. The deed, no, Emma interrupted. The real reason. You could have married anyone. You have money. You could have hired an actress, paid someone to pretend. Why me? Jacob was quiet for a long moment. Because you needed me too, he said finally. Everyone else would have married me for my money, or because they wanted something from me. But you married me because you had no other choice. That made us equal, at least in my mind. Emma stared at him. That's twisted. I know, Jacob said, but it's the truth. What else? Emma asked. What else aren't you telling me? Jacob stood up, walked to the window. My business partner, the one who tried to kill me, his name was Richard Pike. We built a railroad together, started as friends, but money changed him, made him greedy, ruthless. What happened? Emma asked. He wanted full control, Jacob said. Wanted me out. I wouldn't sell my shares. So he decided to kill me instead. Make it look like an accident. Jacob's voice went hollow. He set fire to my house while I was sleeping. I barely got out. My house manager, a good man, Robert Cheney, wasn't so lucky. He died trying to save papers from my office. They found his body, burned beyond recognition. Everyone thought it was me. Emma's hand went to her mouth. That's horrible. I let them think it, Jacob continued, because it kept me safe. Richard thought he'd won, thought he'd gotten away with murder. I let him believe that while I hid here, planned my next move. And what was your next move? Emma asked. Jacob turned to face her. Originally? Wait until I had enough evidence to expose him, destroy him legally, take back my company. Originally? Emma repeated. What changed? You, Jacob said simply. I met you, married you, and suddenly taking back my empire didn't seem as important anymore. Emma's heart skipped. What do you mean? I mean, I've been thinking about selling it all, Jacob said, walking away completely, being Jacob Stone rancher, for real, forever. Emma stood up slowly. You'd give up your railroad, your fortune, everything? Not everything, Jacob said. I'd keep enough to take care of us, to fix up this ranch properly, to make sure you never have to struggle again. But the rest? The business? The empire? I don't need it anymore. Why? Emma asked. Jacob walked to her, stopped a foot away. Because the past 2 months have been the happiest of my entire life, he said quietly. Coming home to you, eating dinner together, talking by the fire, that's worth more than all the railroads in America. Emma's vision blurred with tears. You really mean that, she whispered. Every word, Jacob said. Emma looked at him. This man who'd lied to her, hurt her, but also loved her. And she realized something. She could leave, take his money, start over, or she could stay, forgive him, build a real life together. Jacob, she said softly. Yes? I need you to promise me something. Anything, Jacob said. No more lies, Emma said. Ever. I don't care how bad the truth is. I'd rather have ugly truth than beautiful lies. I promise, Jacob said immediately. And you have to let me in, Emma said. All the way. No more locked rooms, no more secrets. If we're going to do this, we do it together, as partners, as equals. Yes, Jacob said. Absolutely yes. Emma wiped her eyes, took a shaky breath. Okay, she said. Jacob's eyes widened. Okay, Emma repeated. I'll stay, I'll try, I'll give us a real chance. Jacob's face transformed. Joy, relief, love. He reached for her carefully, like she might break. Emma stepped into his arms. Jacob held her tight, like he'd never let go. Thank you, he whispered into her hair. Thank you for giving me another chance. Don't waste it, Emma said. I won't, Jacob promised. I swear I won't. They stood there holding each other, two broken people trying to build something whole. Emma, Jacob said after a while. Yes? Can I show you something? Emma pulled back to look at him. What? The real ranch, Jacob said. What it could be if we stay, if we build it together. Emma nodded. Show me. Jacob took her hand, led her outside. The snow had stopped. The sun was out. Everything sparkled. This ranch is on 500 acres, Jacob said. Good land, water rights. My father bought it when he first came west, before he got rich. It meant everything to him. Why? Emma asked. Because he built it himself, Jacob said, with his own hands. He always said it was the only honest thing he ever owned. Jacob pointed to the barn. We could rebuild that, make it twice the size, get better horses, more cattle. He pointed to the fields. Plant crops in the spring, hay, corn, make the ranch self-sufficient. He pointed to where Emma's little schoolhouse stood in the distance. We could build a real school, big enough for all the children in the area. Pay you a real teacher's salary. Emma's heart swelled. You've thought about this. I think about it every day, Jacob admitted. I think about building a life here, with you, something real, something that matters. Emma squeezed his hand. I'd like that, Jacob smiled. That rare, beautiful smile. There's one more thing, he said. He led her to the side of the house, to a spot overlooking the mountains. This is where I want to build. Jacob said. A new house, a real one, big enough for a family, with a porch where we can sit and watch the sunset, with a warm kitchen where you can cook, with a library full of books, with bedrooms for…" He stopped, looked embarrassed. "For?" Emma prompted. "For children," Jacob said quietly. "Someday, if you want them." Emma's breath caught. "You want children? With you?" Jacob said. "Yes, I want everything with you." Emma turned to face him fully, put her hands on his chest. "Jacob Stone," she said. "Former railroad baron, current rancher, my husband." "Yes?" Jacob said. "I love you too," Emma said. Jacob's eyes went wide. "What?" "I love you," Emma repeated. "I've been in love with you for weeks, maybe longer. I just didn't want to admit it because I was scared." "Scared of what?" Jacob asked. "That you'd never love me back," Emma said. "That I was just a business arrangement. That I didn't matter." Jacob cupped her face in his rough hands. "You matter more than anything. You're not a business arrangement. You're my wife, my partner, my best friend, the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with." He kissed her then, deep and desperate and full of promise. When they pulled apart, both of them were crying. "So we're doing this?" Emma asked. "For real?" "For real," Jacob confirmed. "No more pretending, no more hiding, just us, building a life together." "I have one condition," Emma said. "What?" Jacob asked. Emma smiled. "You're not sleeping in the barn anymore." Jacob laughed, actually laughed. "Deal." They walked back to the house hand in hand. Inside, Emma looked around with new eyes. This wasn't a falling apart house anymore. It was home, their home. "So," Emma said, "what do we do now?" "Now," Jacob said, "we live, we love, we build something beautiful. Together," Emma added. "Together," Jacob agreed. And for the first time since they'd married, they both believed it. 3 weeks later, Emma woke up to sunlight streaming through the window. She rolled over. Jacob was already awake, watching her. "How long have you been staring at me?" Emma asked, smiling. "Not long enough," Jacob said. He kissed her forehead. "I'll never get tired of waking up next to you." Emma stretched. "What time is it?" "Early," Jacob said. "But I have something to show you. Get dressed." 20 minutes later, they were riding across the ranch. The snow was melting. Spring was coming. Jacob led her to the spot where he wanted to build the new house. But something was different. There were stakes in the ground, markers, a plan laid out. "I hired builders," Jacob said. "They start next week. We'll have a real house by summer." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Jacob, I want to give you everything," Jacob said. "Everything I should have given you from the start." Emma hugged him tight. "You're giving me enough. You're giving me yourself." They rode back to the ranch house. Emma made breakfast while Jacob checked on the cattle. Life had fallen into a rhythm, a good rhythm. But Emma knew something was still unfinished. That afternoon, a telegram arrived. Jacob read it. His face went pale. "What is it?" Emma asked. Jacob handed her the telegram. It was from Samuel Chen, his lawyer in San Francisco. "Richard Pike is dead. Heart attack. 3 days ago." Emma sat down slowly. "The man who tried to kill you?" "Yes," Jacob said. "So you're safe now," Emma said. "Completely safe." Jacob nodded. "I can come out of hiding, take back my company, be Jameson Stone again." Emma's stomach dropped. "Is that what you want?" Jacob was quiet for a long moment. "A month ago, I would have said yes," he said finally. "But now?" "Now?" Emma prompted. "Now I have you," Jacob said, "and I don't want to lose you." "You won't lose me," Emma said. "Won't I?" Jacob asked. He sat down across from her. "Emma, if I take back my company, I'll have to go to San Francisco, deal with lawyers, fight legal battles. It could take months, maybe years." "Then I'll come with you," Emma said. Jacob shook his head. "It's not that simple. San Francisco is dangerous for me. There are people who believed I was dead, people who profited from my death. If I come back, they'll fight me. Some might even try to finish what Richard started." Emma's hands went cold. "You think someone else might try to kill you?" "I don't know," Jacob admitted, "but I can't risk it. I can't risk you." "So what are you saying?" Emma asked. "You're going to stay dead forever?" "Maybe," Jacob said. "Or maybe I sell everything. Let Samuel handle it. Sign papers from here. Never show my face in San Francisco again." Emma stood up, walked to the window. Her mind was spinning. "Jacob," Emma said quietly, "can I tell you something?" "Always," Jacob said. "When I married you, I thought I was marrying a poor rancher," Emma said. "And I was okay with that. I was ready to build a small, simple life." She turned to look at him. But now I know who you really are. And I realize something. You're not just a rancher. You're a builder, a creator. You connected the entire country with railroads. You gave people jobs, opportunities, hope. That's in the past, Jacob said. Is it? Emma asked. Or are you just hiding from it? Jacob flinched. That's not fair, isn't it? Emma challenged. You told me you wanted to be Jacob Stone, rancher. But is that really what you want? Or are you just running away from being Jameson Stone because you're scared? Jacob stood up. His jaw was tight. I'm not scared. Then prove it, Emma said. How? Jacob demanded. Emma walked to him, took his hands. Go to San Francisco. Take back your company. Face whatever comes. But do it as yourself, as the man you really are. And what if I get killed? Jacob asked. What if someone finishes what Richard started? Then you die being yourself, Emma said firmly. Not hiding, not pretending, being the man I fell in love with, the man who builds things, who fights for what's right, who doesn't run away. Jacob stared at her. You're asking me to risk my life. I'm asking you to live your life, Emma corrected. Really live it, not hide from it. And what about you? Jacob asked. What about us? I'll be right here, Emma said, waiting, building our home, teaching my students. And when you're done fighting your battles, you come back to me. We build our life together, but you build it as the man you really are, not a shadow, not a ghost. Jacob's eyes filled with tears. I could lose you. You'll lose me if you keep hiding, Emma said softly. Because I didn't fall in love with a coward. I fell in love with a man brave enough to build an empire, brave enough to start over from nothing, and brave enough to love me. Jacob pulled her close, buried his face in her hair. You're asking me to be braver than I've ever been. I know, Emma whispered, but I believe you can do it. They stood there holding each other for a long time. Finally, Jacob pulled back, looked at her. His face was set, determined. Okay, he said, I'll do it. I'll go to San Francisco. I'll take back my company. But Emma, I need you to promise me something. What? Emma asked. If something happens to me, Jacob said, if I don't come back, you take everything. The ranch, the money, all of it. You build the life we dreamed of. You don't waste it mourning me. Jacob, promise me. Jacob insisted. Promise me you'll live, even if I can't. Emma's vision blurred with tears. I promise, but you're coming back. I know you are. How? Jacob asked. Because you promised me no more lies, Emma said. And you promised me a life together. And Jacob Stone keeps his promises. Jacob smiled through his tears. Yes, he does. The next week was a whirlwind. Jacob sent telegrams, made plans. Samuel Chin was coming to Wyoming to help. Emma watched Jacob transform. He wasn't cold, quiet rancher anymore. He was Jameson Stone, railroad baron, businessman, leader. But at night, when it was just the two of them, he was still her Jacob. Gentle, loving, scared. I don't want to leave you, he said one night. They were lying in bed, his arms around her. I don't want you to go, Emma admitted. But you have to. Why? Jacob asked. Why does it matter? I could sell it all, walk away, be happy here with you. Because it's not just about the money, Emma said. It's about who you are. You built something important, something that matters. And if you walk away, you'll always wonder, always regret it. And that regret will poison us eventually. Jacob was quiet. You're wiser than I am. I'm just honest, Emma said. It's easier when you don't have anything to hide. Jacob kissed her temple. I love you so much it scares me. Good, Emma said. Love should be a little scary. Samuel Chen arrived a week later. He brought papers, documents, a whole plan. Emma watched them work. Jacob was completely different, sharp, focused, brilliant. This was the man who'd built an empire. Samuel looked at Emma with something like awe. Mrs. Stone, your husband told me what you said about facing his fears, taking back his life. I just told him the truth, Emma said. You did more than that, Samuel said. In 2 years, I've been trying to convince him to come out of hiding. He always refused, said it was too dangerous. But you convinced him in one conversation. Why? Emma asked. Because he loves you, Samuel said simply, and love makes us brave. The plan was set. Jacob would leave in 3 days, go to San Francisco, meet with lawyers, present evidence of his identity, take back his company. It would be dangerous. Richard Pike was dead, but he had allies, people who'd profited from Jameson Stone's death. They wouldn't give up easily. Jacob could be killed. Emma tried not to think about it, but fear gnawed at her constantly. The night before Jacob was supposed to leave, Emma couldn't sleep. She got up, went downstairs. Jacob was in his office, packing papers. "Can't sleep?" he asked. "No," Emma admitted. "I'm scared." Jacob set down his papers, pulled her into his arms. "Me too." "What if something goes wrong?" Emma whispered. "Then you keep your promise," Jacob said. "You live. You build. You don't let my choices destroy your future." "I don't want a future without you," Emma said. "You won't have to," Jacob said firmly. "I'm coming back. I swear it." "How can you be sure?" Emma asked. Jacob smiled. "Because I have something to live for now. For the first time in my life, I have a real reason to fight, to survive, to win." "What's that?" Emma asked. "You," Jacob said simply. "Our life, our future, our children someday. That's worth more than any railroad empire." Emma kissed him, desperate, loving, trying to memorize everything about this moment. When they pulled apart, Jacob wiped her tears. "Don't cry. This isn't goodbye. This is just, see you soon." "How soon?" Emma asked. 2 months, Jacob said. "Maybe 3. However long it takes to settle everything. Then I'm coming home. For good. Promise?" Emma whispered. "I promise," Jacob said. "On everything I love, I promise." The next morning, Jacob loaded his bags. Samuel was waiting with a carriage. Emma stood on the porch, trying to be brave, trying not to cry. Jacob came to her, held her face in his hands. "I love you, Emma Stone." "I love you too," Emma said. "Come back to me. Always," Jacob promised. He kissed her one more time, long and deep and full of promise. Then he climbed into the carriage and drove away. Emma stood on the porch watching until the carriage disappeared. Then she went inside, sat at the kitchen table, and cried. The first week was the hardest. Emma threw herself into work, taught school, cleaned the house, started planning the garden for spring. But at night, the house felt too empty, too quiet. She missed Jacob's presence, his quiet strength, the way he read by the fire, the way he listened when she talked. She'd gotten a telegram the second day. "Arrived safely. Miss you already. Jay." Then nothing for a week. Emma tried not to worry, but fear gnawed at her. What if something had happened? What if someone had recognized him? What if a telegram arrived? Emma's hands shook as she opened it. Legal proceedings started. "Lawyers are furious I'm alive. This will take time. Stay strong. I love you." Jay. Emma laughed through her tears. He was okay. He was fighting. He was alive. She wrote back immediately. "The house is lonely without you. The cattle miss you too. Come home soon. I love you." The weeks crawled by. Emma got telegrams every few days. Updates, news, love letters in 10 words or less. "One first court battle. They have to acknowledge I'm alive." Jay. "Company shares being restored." "Samuel is brilliant. Miss your cooking." Jay. "Richard's allies are fighting hard, but we're winning. 2 more weeks maybe." Jay. Emma read each telegram 100 times, memorized every word. She was so proud of him, and so scared for him. 6 weeks after Jacob left, a man came to the ranch, rough-looking, armed. Emma's blood went cold. "Mrs. Stone?" the man asked. "Yes," Emma said carefully. "I have a message from your husband," the man said. Emma's heart stopped. "Is he okay?" "He's fine," the man said. He handed her an envelope. "He asked me to deliver this personally, said it was too important for a telegram." Emma tore open the envelope. Inside was a letter in Jacob's handwriting. "My dearest Emma, the legal battles are over. I won. The company is mine again. Every share, every railroad, everything. But I've made a decision. I'm selling it all. Samuel will manage the trust. The workers will get their shares. I'm keeping enough for us to live comfortably. But I'm done building empires. I'm coming home. To you, to our ranch, to the life we dreamed of building together. I should arrive in 3 days. I can't wait to see you, to hold you, to start our real life together. I love you more than words can say. Yours always, Jacob." Emma's knees went weak. She sat down hard. "He's coming home." "Yes, ma'am," the man said. He smiled. "Mr. Stone is very eager to get back to you." "Thank you," Emma whispered. "Thank you for bringing this." The man tipped his hat, rode away. Emma read the letter again, and again, and again. Jacob was coming home in 3 days. Emma spent the next 3 days in a frenzy. She cleaned everything, cooked his favorite foods, made the house perfect. On the 3rd day, she put on her best dress. The blue one made from the fabric Jacob had bought her. She'd finally finished sewing it. She waited on the porch, watching the road. Hours passed. The sun started to set. Emma's heart sank. What if something had happened? What if he'd been delayed? What if she saw dust on the road? A rider coming fast. Emma's heart jumped. She ran down the porch steps into the yard. The rider got closer, closer. It was Jacob. Jakob. Emma screamed. Jacob jumped off his horse while it was still moving, ran to her, swept her up in his arms. They held each other, crying, laughing, kissing. You came back, Emma sobbed. You really came back. I promised, Jacob said. His voice was rough with emotion. I keep my promises. Emma pulled back to look at him. He looked different, older somehow, but stronger, more alive. What happened? She asked. Tell me everything. Later, Jacob said. Right now I just want to hold my wife. He kissed her, long and deep and desperate, like he'd been starving for her. When they finally pulled apart, Jacob looked at the house, at the ranch, at the mountains. I'm home, he said, wonder in his voice. Really home? Yes, Emma said. You're home. They walked inside hand in hand. Jacob looked around, noticed all the little changes Emma had made. You've been busy, he said. I had to keep busy, Emma admitted, or I'd have gone crazy worrying about you. Jacob pulled her close. I'm sorry I put you through that. Don't be sorry, Emma said. You did what you had to do, and I'm so proud of you. Jacob smiled, that beautiful smile. You were right about everything. I needed to face my past, claim my life. But Emma, the whole time I was there, all I could think about was getting back here. To you. This is where I belong. With me? Emma asked. With you, Jacob confirmed. Always with you. That night, they sat by the fire. Jacob told her everything about the legal battles, the threats, the allies of Richard Pike who'd tried to intimidate him. I was scared, Jacob admitted. So many times I wanted to run, to come back here and hide, but I kept thinking about what you said, about being brave, about living as myself, and it gave me strength. You did it, Emma said proudly. You took back your life. No, Jacob said. We did it. You gave me the courage, the reason, the hope. He pulled something from his pocket, a small box. What's this? Emma asked. Jacob opened it. Inside was a ring, a real one this time, gold with a perfect diamond. I bought this in San Francisco, Jacob said. I wanted to replace that iron ring I gave you, wanted to give you something worthy of you. He slid it onto her finger. It sparkled in the firelight. It's beautiful, Emma whispered. You're beautiful, Jacob said, inside and out. You saved my life, Emma. In every way a person can be saved. Emma kissed him. You saved mine too. They held each other as the fire burned low. Two people who'd found each other in the darkness, who'd built something real out of lies and fear and broken pieces. Jacob, Emma said after a while. Yes? What do we do now? She asked. Jacob smiled. Now, we live. We build that house we planned. We raise cattle. You teach your students. We have children someday. We grow old together. That sounds perfect, Emma said. It does, doesn't it? Jacob agreed. The next morning, Emma woke up in Jacob's arms. For real this time. No more fears. No more secrets. No more running. Just them, building a life together. Good morning, Mrs. Stone, Jacob said. Good morning, Mr. Stone, Emma replied. Jacob kissed her forehead. I have something to tell you. What? Emma asked. Samuel sent a final telegram yesterday, Jacob said. The sale went through. The workers got their shares. The trust is set up. Everything is official. And? Emma prompted. And we're now worth approximately $200,000, Jacob said. After giving most of it away, that's more than enough for us to build the life we want, to never worry about money again, to help others who need it. Emma's eyes widened. That's more money than I can imagine. I know, Jacob said. But here's the thing, Emma. It doesn't matter. The money, the empire I had, none of it matters as much as this. As you. As us. He cupped her face. You taught me that. You showed me that the richest man isn't the one with the most money. It's the one with the most love. Emma's throat tightened. You're very sentimental for a former railroad baron. Jacob laughed. You make me sentimental. You make me everything good. That spring, they broke ground on the new house. Jacob worked alongside the builders. Emma helped where she could. The new schoolhouse was finished first. Bigger, better, with real desks and a proper stove and shelves full of books. Jacob had bought every book he could find. For your students, he'd said. Every child deserves a chance to learn. Emma cried when she saw it. It was everything she'd ever dreamed of. The ranch thrived. Jacob bought better cattle, hired good workers, paid them fair wages. Word spread that Jacob Stone treated his people right. Men came looking for work. Jacob hired anyone willing to work hard, taught them, paid them well, built loyalty. By summer, the new house was finished. 3 stories, big porch, warm kitchen, library full of books, bedrooms for the family they'd someday have. Emma stood in the empty house, overwhelmed. "It's too much," she whispered. "It's just enough," Jacob said. He wrapped his arms around her from behind. "This is our home, Emma, the place where we'll build our life, where we'll raise our children, where we'll grow old together." "Children," Emma said. She turned to face him. "Are you ready for that?" Jacob's eyes lit up. "Are you saying?" "Not yet," Emma said quickly. "But someday soon, maybe." Jacob grinned, picked her up, spun her around. "I can't wait." That night, they lay in their new bedroom, in their new house, in their new life. "Emma," Jacob said quietly. "Yes?" "Thank you," he said. "For what?" Emma asked. "For seeing me," Jacob said. "Not the money, not the name, not the empire. Just me, the man behind all of it. You saw me when I couldn't even see myself." Emma rolled over to face him. "You know what I saw?" "What?" Jacob asked. "A man who was brave enough to start over," Emma said. "Who was humble enough to live small, who was strong enough to face his past, and who was wise enough to choose love over everything else." Jacob's eyes shone with tears. "I love you so much." "I love you too," Emma said. "My impossible, wonderful, infuriating husband." Jacob laughed. "Infuriating? You lied to me for 2 months," Emma reminded him. "And you threw a pen at divorce papers," Jacob countered. "Best decision I ever made," Emma said. "Second best," Jacob corrected. "What was the first?" Emma asked. "Saying I do to a cold rancher who didn't deserve you," Jacob said. "You deserved me," Emma said firmly. "We deserved each other. 2 broken people finding a way to be whole." Jacob kissed her, soft and sweet and full of promise. "To us," he whispered. "To us," Emma agreed. If this story touched your heart, smash that like button one final time. Comment beautiful if you loved this ending. Share this story with everyone you know. Subscribe for more stories about love, hope, and second chances. 5 years later, Emma stood on the porch of their beautiful house. The sun was setting over the mountains. The ranch was thriving. The school had expanded twice. In her arms, she held her daughter, 3 years old, dark hair, Jacob's eyes. Running across the yard was their son, 5 years old. Emma smiled. Jacob's determination. "Mama," the boy shouted. "Look what Papa taught me." He jumped off the porch railing, landed perfectly. Emma's heart jumped. "Careful." Jacob came around the corner, laughing. He scooped up their son. "I told you to wait until I was watching." "I did wait," the boy protested. "You were watching from the barn." Emma shook her head. "You're teaching him to be reckless." "I'm teaching him to be brave," Jacob corrected. He climbed the porch steps, kissed Emma's cheek, kissed their daughter's head, like his mother. Emma smiled. "Flatterer, truth-teller," Jacob said. He sat in the rocking chair beside her. Their son climbed into his lap. They sat together, a family, watching the sunset. "Papa," their son said, "tell us the story." "Which story?" Jacob asked. "The pen story," both children said together. Emma laughed. "Not that story again." "It's their favorite," Jacob said. He winked at Emma. "It's my favorite too," he began. "Once upon a time, there was a cold, grumpy rancher who thought he had to hide from the world." Emma listened to Jacob tell their story. The story of how they met, how they married, how she threw a pen, how he came back, how they built this life. She looked at her family, her home, her life. She thought about that scared girl who'd married a stranger to survive. She'd been looking for safety. She'd found everything. "Mama," her daughter said, "do you love Papa?" "More than anything," Emma said. "Why?" the girl asked. Emma looked at Jacob. He was watching her, love shining in his eyes. "Because he's brave," Emma said, "and kind, and he keeps his promises. And he chose me when he could have chosen anything else in the world." "I didn't choose you," Jacob said softly. Emma's eyebrows rose. No, Jacob said. "You chose me. You saw who I really was, and you loved me anyway. That's the greatest gift anyone has ever given me." Emma's eyes filled with tears, happy tears. Their son wrinkled his nose. "Why are grown-ups always crying?" Because sometimes happiness is so big it has to leak out, Jacob explained. The children giggled. The sun set completely. Stars came out. The air turned cool. Time for bed, Emma said. But Mama, the children protested. No buts, Jacob said. He stood up, carried their son inside. Emma followed with their daughter. They tucked the children in, read them stories, kissed them goodnight. Then Emma and Jacob walked outside, to the porch, to their spot. Jacob pulled Emma close. She leaned into him. You know what I realized today? Jacob asked. What? Emma said. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be, Jacob said. Not building railroads, not making fortunes, right here, with you, with our family. This is my empire now. An empire of love, Emma said. The only kind worth having, Jacob agreed. They stood there under the stars. Two people who'd found each other through lies and truth and everything in between. The rancher who'd hidden his fortune. The teacher who'd seen past the disguise. The love that had saved them both. Jacob, Emma said quietly. Yes? Do you ever regret it? She asked. Giving up your railroad empire, walking away from all that power? Jacob was quiet for a moment. Then he laughed. Not for 1 second. That empire was built on steel and money. This one is built on love. And love lasts longer than any railroad ever could. He turned her to face him. Emma Stone, you are the greatest fortune I've ever had. You and our children and this life we've built. I would give it all up 1,000 times over to have this. To have you. Emma kissed him. Good answer. It's the truth, Jacob said. The only truth that matters. Inside, they heard one of the children calling out. A nightmare, probably. Emma started to go. Jacob stopped her. I'll go, he said. You sit. Rest. You've been working all day. So have you, Emma pointed out. I know, Jacob said. But I like tucking them in. Reminds me how lucky I am. He went inside. Emma heard him talking to their son, soothing him, singing an old lullaby. Emma smiled. Who would have thought? Cold, harsh Jacob Stone, singing lullabies, being gentle, being a father. Love had changed him, just like it had changed her. Jacob came back out, sat beside her. He's already asleep again, Jacob reported. You're good at this, Emma said. Being a father. I had no idea what I was doing when our son was born, Jacob admitted. I was terrified I'd break him. But you didn't, Emma said. Because you showed me how, Jacob said. You show me everything important. They sat in comfortable silence. The kind of silence that comes from years together, from knowing each other completely. Emma, Jacob said eventually. I want to tell you something, he said. Something I've been thinking about. Emma sat up, looked at him. What? I want to expand the school, Jacob said. Not just here. I want to build schools all over the territory. Places where children who have nothing can learn, can grow, can become whatever they want to be. Emma's heart swelled. Jacob, that would be expensive. We have the money, Jacob said. And what better way to use it? You taught me that education changes everything. Let's change everything for as many children as we can. Emma threw her arms around him. Yes, that's perfect. We'll call them Stone Schools, Jacob said. No, Emma Stone Schools, because it's your dream, your vision. Our vision, Emma corrected. We do everything together, remember? Together, Jacob agreed. They spent the next hour planning, talking, dreaming. By the time they went to bed, they had sketched out an entire program. Schools, teachers, books, supplies, hope. Lying in bed, Emma looked at Jacob. You know what's amazing? What? Jacob asked. 5 years ago, you were hiding from the world, Emma said, pretending to be someone you weren't. Now you're building schools, changing lives, being completely yourself. You did that, Jacob said. Your reaction when you found out who I really was, that changed everything. What do you mean? Emma asked. Jacob propped himself up on his elbow, looked at her seriously. When you discovered I was Jameson Stone, you had every right to be angry, he said. To hate me, to leave me. But you didn't. You saw past the money, past the lies. You saw me, the real me, and you loved me anyway. His voice grew thick with emotion. That's when I realized that being rich didn't matter. Being powerful didn't matter. What mattered was being loved for who I really was. Not what I had, not what I could give, just me. Emma wiped tears from his cheeks. You're everything, Jacob Stone. With money or without it, with empires or without them. You're everything to me. And you're everything to me, Jacob said. My wife, my partner, my best friend, the mother of my children. The love of my life. They held each other. Safe. Complete. The end. Thank you for listening to The Rancher Who Hid His Fortune. Emma's reaction to discovering Jacob's secret didn't just reveal his wealth, it revealed his heart. And her choice to love him for who he was, not what he had, changed his entire life forever. If this story moved you, hit that like button one last time. Leave a comment telling me what you loved most about this story. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe for more audio stories about love, courage, and second chances. Remember, the greatest fortune isn't what's in your bank account. It's who's standing beside you when everything else falls away. Until next time, keep believing in second chances. Keep believing in love. Keep believing that sometimes the best things in life come from the hardest choices. This is your storyteller signing off. Sweet dreams, and may you all find your own fortune in love.